All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Kakushigoto, Episode 4.
A surprise harem as a result of miscommunication.
I mean, he is young and attractive, all things considered.
Yep. Yeah. And he is, you know, maybe dealing with some stuff emotionally that he is a bit more open about than they would expect. And vulnerable.
And capable of a breadth of things.
Of feelings. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But,
I know what that's like.
But yes, last episode was great. Super hilarious. I love seeing the teacher in the jealous lover who he doesn't even know exists.
Well, I mean, he knows she exists. He just doesn't take really...
He doesn't even know that she likes him that way.
I don't think he's actually capable of liking someone else, Jacob. Because...
Yeah, he is kind of
he was
in his own
once,
head and world.
And he probably still thinks about her constantly.
Yeah.
And,
well, let's just say if he's unable to see what's right in front of him with his daughter in some ways, of just her wanting to spend more time with him and all these antics not being necessary, I doubt he would really be able to see that someone has feelings for him.
Sure.
So.
Possibly. So,
yeah.
Y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, okay.
Yeah. That was a really sweet episode.
Really sweet episode. Like, we end up getting the whole aspect of writing, drawing specifically within just the she's got a school bit of school homework and stuff, but then some other things regarding like pen names and little behind the scenes stuff with regards to being a mangaka. But I really loved the throughput of this like supernatural element, and it was played for comedy in the beginning of,
with the fortune telling and stuff.
Yeah, the fortune telling, and then the like what kind of way does this change someone and make them look at things from like a little bit of a unhealthy metaphysical way. But then there's the other things that you can come into play with this, where there's a little bit of like this it's nothing crazy, but a little bit of a reassurance that, hey, we're being watched over by a powerful guardian spirit.
Right.
And it's like, we know what that's referring to. This is the homekeeper kind of noticing the environment and being like, they lost their mother.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that there's a very powerful guardian spirit coming there. That's I love when people use something that is totally nonsense, basically, to kind of just give a little bit of reassurance in a positive way to someone that it's not going to warp their worldview in any crazy
not going to have
way.
Some crazy negative effect on them, but it's
a nice sentiment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Trying to communicate something on an otherwise touchy subject that they couldn't communicate on in normal ways.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Because you couldn't just say like, "Hey, I'll bet your mom's watching over you." Right?
Yeah,
it's like, well, that's a sensitive subject, and why'd you bring that up? You know.
Yeah, and also she's probably got like specific things she's allowed to talk with, her daughter about anyway.
Right.
But this is the cool thing. When we go through to the end of the episode, though, what does the daughter draw but the perspective from an outside, from an outsider's view, almost like a powerful guardian spirit watching over them.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay.
And maybe she was inspired to draw from that kind of point of view because of the fortune that she got.
Yeah, that could have had a part to play in it.
It's a really sweet way to look at the whole. We could draw from the perspective of the thing that everyone else is pointing at.
Right.
It's Godzilla,
Yeah.
What's the due to copyright we cannot actually say that it is
right.
But it looks like,
Yep. That whole thing. But I don't know. Like anytime that stories get into like parental relationships, and all of that stuff, like I love it, and I think a lot of that is because it's the whole mid-20s, so of course hormones are like parent stuff is the best, right?
I mean, it's not all unique. it's not all 20-year-olds that are like that. So that's a pretty
fair
special
point,
thing to
fair
have
point.
that kind of empathy and like also just desire to feel like, oh, I want to dote upon a son or a daughter or whoever. Just
And the way that it gets brought up in this, like, it's just an example of why I love anime, because it's very special when you can go from comedy and laughs and sort of the safe security of that to all of a sudden, let's get real and let's get at some stuff that'll really, pull at the heartstrings, right? Because
poke with the knife.
Why do we go to stories? A lot of it is for that distraction, that break from the doldrums of life and the stresses and the pressures of just, existence, right? So being able to have that, that fun laugh, right? As we see the miscommunication and, oh, you're going to an art class. Is this because you specifically came here to see me? Oh, well, we haven't done a color page in a while. Shut up, And then all of a sudden, oh, tender moment with your daughter.
Right.
And sort of dwelling on that unaddressed question of, where's mom?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Oh, but I can see the tiger. Do you think the tiger can see us? It's like, yeah, probably. It's like, oh, okay.
Yep. I'm not crying. You're
yeah,
crying.
Yeah, exactly. It's what's that stock image? The old guy with just it's like the heartburn.
Oh yes,
image. Yeah. It fits so much for this show. You're just going from like, oh my god, like groaning to like dying laughing to heartburn.
The one that comes to mind for me is the person in their bed with the giant glass of wine and they're like spilling it over themselves.
Yeah, exactly. But I loved having like little twists also as well. Seeing the mysterious high school girl that's aspiring to be an idol just being like, wait, what?
You're an amazing artist. Like, dude,
why are you here?
Like, offer her a job. Like,
right.
I mean, she probably doesn't want to draw manga because,
Yeah. She wants to be an idol.
She wants to be an idol, and that's another person who would know your secrets. So, and she talks with Hime constantly.
True. But also, like, it's the thing of where she was volunteering. Kind of, this was like an extra thing.
Right. To basically probably get her face out there. It's like, be more known by the community and all that stuff, hopefully, to, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
but oh my god, the assistants this episode were on fire. Just the moments of like, oh, wait a minute. Ching. Sensei, that looks so good. Yeah,
Wow. Oh, well.
What's your pen name? I'll never tell you.
Never.
Never.
Absolutely not. Like,
you just imagine, like, the kind of, like, manga, like, people want to draw, but their personality makes people assume that they're going to draw a certain way.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, she was probably going to draw the fluffiest, like, most wholesome, like, father-daughter manga, And yet, everyone assumes she's going to draw, like, dark fantasy.
Watch,
and,
she's
like,
actually the author self-insert, right, character, and is just, like, when we end up finding out her pen name, it's just the pen name of whoever wrote this, manga.
That would be funny.
But or it's because she's already drawing things, and maybe not like in an official like published capacity, but maybe like she has like an online persona or something, and she's like, no, he absolutely cannot see the hardcore smut that I draw.
Right.
Right. The steamy fanfic art.
That's the other one that I would have guessed as well.
Yeah,
like,
that's in a lot of ways the more obvious assumption.
One, right.
But I do like the idea of the fluffy, super sweet stuff, and it's like, no, that clashes with my image.
Also, Ichiko's date with him, I feel for her so badly.
Oh, girl.
But also think about it from the perspective of the guardian spirit watching over them kind of thing again.
Sure.
You could say that in a weird way, she was kind of fulfilling that role.
Yeah.
But also getting casually ignored because maybe it would be a bit too awkward to
address the elephant in the room.
Stuff with your daughter right there.
Yeah, which is right, because that's Kakushi's like whole mode of operating, right, is just ignore stuff, and try and keep the happy lie going.
Now, to be fair, he was aware that she was there at all times.
Oh, totally.
And he was doing this because of a very roundabout kind of clarification that she's actually the one doing the drawings. And the thing is, it's probably worked. Like, she's probably going to be like, oh, yeah, you drew this when you were sitting at the zoo with your dad.
And she wouldn't even know that that's what was going on, right? That it was that kind of verification. But as far as, Kakushi as a character is very, very neurotic, right?
Oh, extremely
and it's hilarious to see. But a lot of the times, the assumptions that he makes, they're very like, okay, yes, this is your shtick, so of course you're going to make these assumptions. And it's entertaining to see you jumping to all these crazy conclusions. But for this episode, I actually bought a lot of the conclusions he was jumping to of like, oh yeah, if you know that I'm a manga artist and she actually does really well because I believe that my daughter is super talented, are you just going to think that I did that for her? Especially when you specifically told me I'll be keeping an eye out? Oh shit. Well, what do I do then?
I need to nip that in the bud. So
right. How do I address that? And then, of course, there's the extreme thing of, hey, and originally I thought it's the, hey, can you come to the zoo with us, right? And it's like, oh, you could phrase it as like happen to run into, your teacher who's also at the zoo, oh, want to see her do,
it still gives her that rendezvous vibe.
Right, it still gives her the rendezvous vibes, but maybe that could be a way that Kakushi could, in a more acceptable capacity, right, have them be hanging out outside of, like, the school, like parent-child relationship and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But no, instead he's like, just sit over there and just watch.
Right.
Which is like, oh my god.
Yes.
Like, if it had gone the way that I mentioned, I actually wouldn't have been surprised if they did some kind of crazy long game. This is the beginning of something where he's not able to admit it right now or address it because, of all the, just of how he functions and the fact that his wife did die, who knows how recently.
Sure.
But with this, it's like, oh no, girl, just
Also, the little kids.
The kids were amazing.
Oh, she's
her significant other died.
Died.
And now
we'll
she's
behave tomorrow.
Yeah, we promise we'll behave. Like that was. Oh my god, that was incredible.
I will just say, this is the thing that kids can be little gremlin shits,
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm an oldest brother. Kids can be little shits, But kids can also be some of the sweetest, most empathetic, most, just wholesome beings.
And it can flip on a dime.
Yeah, it can flip on a dime because they have no, concept of, I don't know.
Well, their worlds are moving 10 times faster than ours,
That's true,
because an hour is an eternity, right? So, a minute is like, oh yeah, I did that long enough,
They'll laugh maniacally squashing a bug. And then they'll and then they'll turn to you and see that you're not having a good day and be like, and then immediately shift and like, oh, and then come over and give you a hug and hug your leg and be like, is everything okay?
And that can happen.
Yes, it can. I'm trying to think of the instance where I remember something like that did happen, where I saw a kid being a little monster, and I was like, what is wrong with you?
Little shit.
Yeah, I think the worst thing I've seen a kid do, a little kid, like a 4-year-old or something, like a 3 or 4-year-old, was they did something where they pushed an animal, and it was just no. I'm like, nope, not gonna help coddle any kind of psychopathic, hurting animals shit in my neighborhood or whatever.
They just pull out a pocket knife, so they found.
But once they realized what they had done, they shifted entirely into this oh no, I didn't mean
right
to,
because
I thought it was playing or something.
Exactly, that's the
yeah.
Because when you're a kid, you don't have a concept of other things feelings really.
No.
It's just I want to try this out. This seems fun.
My toy.
Right, exactly.
Bonk.
Yeah. But then it's all of a sudden okay, all right, well.
Because your feelings can be so starkly overwhelming to them that they're like,
right.
I don't understand.
It's the kid that doesn't know if they're actually hurt until they see if you're scared.
That's true. That's true.
And then they're like, oh, you're scared. Oh no, I'm gonna cry now.
That's why I've dealt with so many parents where they're just like
panicking
and stuff. I'm like, no, calm down. You're
Oh,
fine.
By the time you get to the second one, you'll have it.
Well, that's the thing, is that there were many times when like I was like not co-parenting, but I was like basically the adult for you guys, younger siblings and
sure,
stuff.
Yeah.
And
big family, he would babysit a family.
Yeah, I'd babysit basically. And there'd be times where you'd have another parent come by with their kids, and I'd be like, these are my children. like those are your children. Have yeah. Okay. Well, basically there'd be a thing of like, well, where's your parents? I'd be like, excuse me.
I have been given temporarily.
I have been given temporary.
I am the steward of Gondor.
Yes, I am the steward. Role of Gondor is mine, and no others.
How did we get here from talking about this wonderful father-daughter anime?
Father-daughter anime. It's adorable. It was wonderful.
Yep.
And they keep dripping the little bits of info about.
And we actually saw the mom in a flashback, which is more than we've gotten up until now.
That's true.
Which I'm not sure if that's just something where it's the progression of the show, and eventually we're going to see the mom and things like that. Time passes and all that. But or if it's something where Kakushi as a character is actually starting to accept it enough that he removes some of the mental blockers that makes it so that his mind can actually go there and think about her. Because I get the feeling that a lot of the show avoiding the topic of the mom is because the characters are avoiding the topic of the mom. Yeah. And for Hime, that's it's of course, right? Because she doesn't fully understand what's going on, and she'd copy whatever she sees her dad do, and we don't know how old she was when her mom passed away, right? Mm-hmm. It could have been when she was very young, hence the boxes and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But with Kakushi, it's a bit more pointed because, that it's a more stark decision for him to be like, nope, not going to think about that, right? But little things that Hime does makes him go back and look at the drawer with all the pictures,
right? That's important.
The drawer with the pictures, the place that's covered, and you don't have to look at, right? It could be out of sight, out of mind, but it has all these memories.
Which means if you're smart, she's probably opened that at least once.
She very well might have. And it's something where, if you don't, because you're the dad and she learns from you, if you don't learn to accept this and deal with this and move on from this, how can you expect her to?
Right.
And there will be this void in her life until that gets addressed.
Yep.
So best of luck, dude.
Y'all. Oh, what an episode. So thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.